Peace, Trey. Welcome back. It's been a minute.
I know, I know. I felt like, oh my gosh, has it been over a month or something? I hadn't
More
seen you
than
in
a
a while.
month.
It's
Yeah, it's been like 2
crazy.
months since you've done the show
That's
together. Yeah.
crazy. Well, how are you, man? It's great to be back with you.
I'm doing good, and I hope you're doing good. You look like you're doing wonderful. Like that time off really did a good job for you.
It was a lot of work. I got to tell you. I mean, even though it was my vacation, I was so grateful for the opportunity to expand on, my skill set, right? And like kind of learn in space. So, shout out to Black Stacks for giving me that opportunity to, tour with them. It was amazing, but a lot of work. It was real. So that's what I was doing. That's what I was out there doing.
You're going to have to tell me about that.
Yeah. We'll have to make sure we do a recap. Let's go back a little bit here because you've been sharing several tips, and now it feels like we are more than halfway through these tips, right? And so let's just get a little bit of an overview of where we are today.
Yeah, so this brings us to 2/3 of the way through today.
Wow.
So we'll be at number 8 today. There's 12 total. It starts off with Realifers give 110% at everything they do. Realifers are 110% responsible for everything that happens in their life, especially what they think, feel, say, and do. Realifers make their word bond and keep it impeccable. Realifers pursue personal growth and development daily. Realifers set an intention for the day every day. Realifers are growth mindset oriented. And then number 7, the one before right now, is Realifers are realistically positive and optimistic, but are able to see all aspects of a situation.
Wow, that's the one I missed right there.
Yes.
Oh man,
Deontay was here for that.
Yeah. No, I'm glad. And he hit me up. He's like, man, you be having some hitters on this show. I'm like, I know, because I know, Mr. Calhoun's gonna bring it every time. So that gets us up to
Who's
real
Mr.
life.
Calhoun? What you talking about over there?
I said that to him. I said that to him. Okay. You know what I mean? I was paying reference. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, look, at the end of the day, every time you're on, all of these tips are things that people may have thought of already, but maybe they're just not really implementing them in their lives. Yeah. What are we on today for tip number 8?
So today, number 8 is Realifers acknowledge who they are right now with ambitions to improve. Now, it sounds simple, but it's a tough one. And it's a critical one because it involves kind of 2 parts, right? You got to first accept where you are right now, because if you don't accept where you are, you can't come up with a solution to the problem. A lot of the times we're in denial or we're in resistance to what's going on. So then we don't adequately think through a process or come up with a plan or a strategy to address what's actually going on. And then the second part with ambitions to improve. So knowing that I'm in this situation, I'm not stuck here. There's always an option. There's always ways out. There's always things I can do to deal with what I'm going through right now.
Yeah, no, this right here is real. I think sometimes the hardest part is the acknowledgement piece because, to a certain degree, I think we see ourselves as, the best version of ourselves all the time. And that doesn't mean that's where we're at. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's that hard realization of like, I think about this for myself all the time. There's specific things I need to do to improve. And I know it. And every time I violate it, I go, there I go again. You know what I mean? And for some odd reason, there are things that you say to yourself that give you comfortability with that violation when it's just really an outright violation, right? And it doesn't allow you to really be your best self every single day. No. So, walk us through some of these points because there's things people got to do to get there, right? See?
Absolutely. So I brought my healthy cheat sheet here with me. The first 8.1 is know who you are today is not who you have to be tomorrow. Right. So, and I think it goes back to that acceptance piece. It's important because until we accept who we are and we're comfortable with that, we can't be our authentic self or be genuine. But it's knowing that we don't have to be perfect. I think I just put up a post last week and it's saying giving 100% doesn't mean giving 100%. Or giving your all doesn't mean giving 100%. It means giving all you can in the moment. You may only have 35% to give, but give the whole 35. It doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect. Doesn't mean it's going to come out perfect. But I'm here. I'm going to show up and I'm going to give you all I can right now.
Yeah, that's really key. So much of this is about giving grace to ourselves too.
Yes.
Because in those times, yes, we are constantly improving. Really, if we're really like on a pathway of growth and progression, there's going to always be this level of me that like, okay, I'm doing well, but I'm always looking to how I can do better. But I think, somebody shared with me, you also got to, celebrate your successes now too. And so that's a part of that acknowledgement. That's a great one. What's the next point, see?
All right. Next one is 8.2. Never be satisfied with your current reality. Always be working towards your ideal, better, or real self. So this is what you just mentioned, right? So we are here. We accept that fact, but we know this is where we want to be. So there's work that needs to be done to get from here to there. And I'm always doing the work and making sure that I'm progressing to where I want to be and not being stuck or getting too comfortable where I'm at. And I won't say when I was less successful, but at a time when you kind of at the bottom trying to really struggle and make your way up to the top, it's easy because every day you wake up hungry. It's like a boxer, right? The lion or the tiger coming up the mountain's always hungrier than the tiger on top of the mountain.
Yeah, true.
Right. So when you get that kind of to that place of comfortability, it becomes more difficult. Be like, yeah, I got to stretch and get out of my comfort zone or, do what's necessary to get to the next level. But it feels good here. Right. I don't want to have to, the body and the mind play tricks on you and say, I don't want to go to that place where I get uncomfortable, which causes me to stretch and grow.
Yeah, no, that plateauism is real, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you hit a plateau. I think about it for working out. You're like, all right, man, I done lost like 20 pounds. I'm good. Like, all right, but you hit a plateau. And at some point, there's also this layer of, I think, not just comfortability, but this layer of like, you know what? This is what works. This level right here is what works, right? Yeah. And so when you get to that point where you're like, I gotta push more at this point. I gotta kind of get over that hump. You're absolutely right. It's the plateauing, man, that can get us there.
I'll give you a real life example yesterday, right? So I know in a couple of weeks we're going to be coming up on eating healthy and eating the right thing. So I had to lose some weight because I was kind of the stomach. I was looking at some of the pictures, stomach sticking out. So I've lost about 20 pounds. Nice. I'm bound to the lowest I've been in about 5 years. But guess what I did last night? Hey, like 3 candy bars.
Yeah, see?
I said, I'm good. Like you said, I'm right. Good. I know what I'm doing now. I can go ahead and splurge a little bit. 3 knocked out 3. I shouldn't have done it.
Right. See, that's what it is right there. See, I'm telling you. And, I was like, you know what? I've changed a lot of my eating habits. I'm good on certain things. Okay, I can kind of go here. I can kind of go there. I understand it completely, man. What's 8.3? Where we at?
8.3 is create environments that produce situations to optimize your growth and success, right? So, and a lot of us, again, we get to that place where we don't like being uncomfortable. And that's one of the things that I share all the time is get comfortable being uncomfortable because that's where the growth takes place. And that's what helps you get to the next level. So we get to that place where we don't want to do that and it hurts us. So we don't put ourselves in situations where there's opportunities for growth because we're trying to avoid that uncomfortableness. I was told a long time ago, always say yes. When you're asked to do something, say yes. Even whether you know how to do it or not, whether you have the skills, ability, the resources to do it, say yes. Because you'll figure it out between then and the time you have to do it. But if you don't, you miss out on the opportunity to stretch yourself and grow and become the better person. And that's the whole thing of Realifer is to become your best self. And that's the North Star, the thing that's always driving us every day.
My real life example of that is literally going on tour with Black Stacks, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, you know what? We've seen you. You're great. You're a great organizer. I'm like, I am, but I've never done road management before, right? Like I don't know the transit systems in Europe. There was so much learning on the ground that I had to do. And I just want to give a whole shout out to their entire team for, working with me through that, because there was times where I'm like, wait a minute, what? We got to go to what platform? What train? What, man, we're going the wrong way. Oh, wait, we can get on any train. Like there was so much learning in that time frame. But I literally said to them, man, this is an opportunity for me to excel. Yes. And it came I said yes before I think my dad even passed. I'm like, you know what? But all the logistics weren't quite there. So then after dad passed, I'm like, are you sure? I was like, man, my dad would want, he would roll over right now in his grave if I did not take this opportunity to expand. Right.
He gonna come see.
And so you're so right about that. You have to be willing to kind of step out on uncharted waters in order for you to even figure out how you can chart those waters and take those lessons back. So I agree with that 100%. Yeah. I mean, see, when we talk about, all of these.
Before we go on, I have a question for you. Please. Now the coach is coming out of me, right?
Please.
So how do you feel coming back now, though?
Oh, yeah. No.
What does it feel like now?
Yeah, no. Right? Like now I'm like, oh, I could do that, right?
Like
now
confident.
I have, because I have the experience, like you said, of doing it and being like, all right, I had to do it. I had to learn in the moment. Now, if somebody was to ask me to do it again, I'm like, you know what? I know X, Y, Z, especially if we're in this region. Okay. And if we're not, now I know how to research even better to be prepared for a new region. Right. So there's so much that I was able to take away from that.
And you've said it twice. learning in the moment.
Yeah.
See, we're used to school and being there at the desk, having time to figure out the problem, or at our desk doing homework. But life happens in the moment. And a lot of our learning happens in the moment. And you have to be
Yes.
able to figure it out quickly. But if you don't already have a program instilled to be able to help you have a process to go through that, it makes it difficult.
Yeah. And it went back, so much of it went back to like spiritual practices for me, because
Mhm.
it was like
Yes.
in the midst of chaos, you know, we're there and the train workers go on strike. We're like, what? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, total, some of these scenarios, I couldn't even make it up, right? But it's like in the midst of all of that, my peace was like holding me down, and that
Mhm.
was like, oh, this, I'm going to build off of lessons that I'm already doing,
Exactly.
right, to
Exactly.
allow me to really be adaptable in these
Exactly.
situations. So I mean, again, it goes back to your real lifer tips. See, like this one right here is really a great one, because we do have to acknowledge where we are,
Mhm.
but that also helps us understand opportunities we have to grow,
Mhm.
right, if we're
Mhm.
really being real about
Yep.
that for ourselves. So
Yep.
I always a gem, man. You're always dropping the gems here.
Thank
See,
you.
make
Thank
sure
you.
the folks know right there how they can catch up with you.
All right. Appreciate it. Well, you can catch up with me at curtiscalhoun.com. And then on all the social media platforms and LinkedIn is Curtis R. Calhoun. Reach out, hit me up. I'll definitely respond.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great one. We appreciate you and all the work you're doing.
Thank you,
See,
Trey. I appreciate you.
absolutely. You guys.